So we'll get started in 1 minute.
I hope that everybody is doing great. Hello, Maria from Brazil. Fun fact, I'm also from Brazil originally, so it's on my slide. So I'm very familiar with, international students' challenges. So we're going to talk more and focus on a few topics that may be of interest to international students. So we also have Winnie, if I'm not saying it wrong, from Nigeria. Sophia from Nigeria as well. Welcome.
Yep. Everybody
talking with us.
Please take a minute to introduce yourself and let Michelle know where you're coming from. She's very interested to know where our audience is from today, and that will help her make sure that the presentation is informative and addresses your questions and concerns. Yes. So you can drop a line in the chat.
Definitely, that's a good idea. I do have a few screens here, so I'll be looking in different screens. But thank you for joining us today. We're going to start shortly. Okay. Gustavo, also from Brazil. Hello.
Yeah. Well, why don't we get started, Michelle, because I know you have a lot to share with the students today.
We do.
I know that there was a little bit of a delay with our opening video, so some of the students might have been watching it a little bit behind time. So I'm just going to, but we'll get started because I see a few students dropping in now. But let's get started, and then this session will be recorded and available for students after as well if they missed the beginning, so not the end of the world. But good morning, everybody. My name is Natalie Rudner. I am the Director of Academics at Rosedale Global High School. And I am thrilled to have here with us today Michelle Galera Diaz, who is the International Recruitment Officer at McMaster University. And as a newcomer to Canada herself, Michelle's committed to supporting a diverse group of students such as yourselves to succeed in their educational journeys. She understands the needs of international students and intends to guide high school students to make informed decisions about their post-secondary education and career while helping to provide a seamless transition to a Canadian university. And so today she's going to be talking to us about studying in Canada and the journey to going to McMaster University. During the presentation, she's open to questions and comments. She'll be asking you to participate in the chat. So please make sure that you respond and make her feel heard and ask your questions. If you do have questions specifically about programs or anything that you would like her to answer, please put those in the Q&A tab just so that we can keep them separate from sort of the general conversation during the presentation. So with that, I'm going to disappear, but I will still be here watching and responding to some of your comments if I can help as well, and helping Michelle know the questions that are being asked. So without that, I'm going to turn off my camera and my microphone, and I'm going to turn it over to Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Rosedale, for promoting this event and having the opportunity to talk about studying in Canada to international students around the globe. So we have a few others entering, Cassie from Philippines as well, some students from Nigeria and also from Brazil. Very happy to be here today. We do have an agenda. Hopefully, we'll be able to cover all the topics, starting with student life in Canada, work opportunities, how to fund students' educations, and also application process. Of course, we're going to talk about our programs, the programs that we offer at McMaster as well. So it will be a blend of more general information as well as information about McMaster. At the end, I'm going to open for questions. Hopefully, we'll be able to address these questions. So please feel free to add any questions you have in the Q&A portion of the chat. And we're going to hopefully have time to address that, okay? Starting with my name, I had a very nice introduction from Natalie, but my name is Michelle. I work with McMaster in our recruitment team. I work with international students. We do have a few members that work with international students from different parts of the world. Very happy to be here. Also, I saw a few students from Brazil. I'm originally from Brazil, born and raised there. I speak a few language, so if you need any assistance as well in Portuguese or maybe Spanish, you can drop the questions in these languages. But for others, always good to put the question in English so we can address that. Here is starting with the student life. So just being very general in terms of services that many Canadian institutions offer to international students. Most of them, you see that there is immigration advising services, also because international students very often come to Canada to study in one of our universities, and they want to make sure that these students are very well served and also receive the assistance that they need. For example, students that need to renew their study permit while they are here in Canada. We do have at McMaster a team that helps students with that. Success coaching, so many faculties and departments, they have people to help students, for example, to build a resume or to be prepared for the workplace here in Canada, to be prepared for job selections. And we're going to talk about work opportunities here in Canada as well in a bit. And other services that also you see from any of our Canadian institutions in terms of health insurance and supports that are available since first year for students, and social events that you can take part in. So we do have a lot to do. Students are not going to be bored because I think the challenge here will be balance your academic life, your schedule, your academic schedule, with so many opportunities for students to join, for example, clubs. At McMaster, we have more than 300 clubs that the students can participate. And also we have a lot more in terms of athletic. We have more than 100 sports that the students can participate as well. So you have a lot of opportunities to socialize, to make friends, and we are very diverse. We have very diverse community here in Canada and also at McMaster. So you have the opportunity to meet students from all over the world. So it's a great experience for you. Specifically for McMaster, we have a few offices that help students, for example, with accommodation requests. We have the students' accessibility services, or if you want to talk to someone, we want to make sure that you are happy. So if you need a counselor, for example, we do have the Student Wellness Center. So basically, in many institutions, in many universities here in Canada, you see so many different services, and it's essential for students to always seek for help. Ask for help. Don't be shy. Very often we receive emails that start with, "I don't want to bother you," but so it's never, you're never bothering us, right? So just make sure you understand that. Of course, it's our job to help you, but also we do it because we want to make sure you are happy, that everything that you need, and also to achieve a very successful path here with us. Hopefully, graduate, and we're going to talk about options after you graduate as well. Another topic that students should consider when they are moving to another country and applying for international university here in Canada is how the residence settings or how the residence, if it's offered in your university. So for example, McMaster, we have 13 residence buildings that the students they live in. for the first year. And there are different types of rooms and also different types of living and learning communities. So you can be part of activities with students that have similar interests. So just make sure you understand how the housing situation is in the university that you're applying. Hopefully, if you're applying to McMaster, we do have many different types of rooms that the students can choose from. It's like a lottery system, how it works, our process. But we do have, for example, apartment style, where you're gonna, and suite style, which is a self-contained unit, where you're gonna share the space with the roommates that are in this contained unit. And we have the more traditional rooms as well, for example, single, double, triple rooms. That is the left side of your, or right side, left side of your screen. So this is the more traditional style. Most of our rooms will be the traditional style as well, but we can definitely chat more about all this process individually, okay? In terms of also off-campus housing, eventually students will decide to leave off-campus, or depending on which university they study, you know, that they may not get a spot in residence. So in this case, most of our institutions, they have a department within the housing department that helps students get this off-campus opportunities, because we understand that international students are not very familiar with rental or how to rent a house or an apartment here in Canada, and we want to help you with that. It may not be a very easy path if you're a first-year student, so it's something that you also need to consider if you have to rent an apartment or a house before you arrive here in Canada. If this is the case, always contact the university and they will be happy to help you with that. And other things that you always need to consider is about the transportation situation in the city that you're located or the area where the university is located. For example, here in Hamilton, where McMaster is located, we do have a GO bus station and for bus and also train that students can go to different cities and explore different cities in the surrounding areas here in the Greater Toronto area. And we also have available for all the students, including their tuition fee, a bus pass, a city bus pass, where students can go anywhere in the city of Hamilton. You know, if they want to go to the mall, for example. So you should always consider how you're going to be commuting from and to the university. And some other things that are important, like grocery, pharmacy, where the university is located. Is it easy to get around? So it's something that you always need to consider when you are choosing a university. We understand that there are different students with different profiles. So sometimes students may decide to live in larger centers because they like the cosmopolitan life. Sometimes students may decide to live in smaller cities. So it's up to the student to decide also what they like and where they're going to apply. Always good to do this research before you are applying, so you make sure that you have everything that you need in the surrounding areas. Or, for example, if you're interested in festivals or art scenes, here in Hamilton, we do have like lots of restaurants as well. So just make sure you do this research before you apply. In terms of meal plans, universities may be very different here in Canada in terms of meal plans. A few universities, they may offer a cafeteria style where they offer the meal and you select from a bar, from a salad bar, or like the hot plates or meals as well. Other universities, for example, McMaster, it's like a food course style, where you're gonna select the meal that you are craving that day or that meal. So it's a little bit different how this system works for universities. And also meal plans, they're totally different depending on the university that you are in. Our meal plan, you have different types, and you may select any type of food from the options that they have on campus. And even off campus, we have a few vendors that you can use your meal card during your academic year. And we talked about that when the first slide, but just a reminder that many of our universities, we have athletics, athletic center, and options for students to be active. I'm not a very active person, but it's good for students to have this balance in their life as well. We know that it can be a few periods of the academic year may be a little bit stressful, so it's always good to have some activities to put your mind, in ease, and also have this balanced life. We have many sports that the students can participate, and here in Canada, very different levels of if they want to compete, for example, in the varsity team. Each university have their own sports and their varsity. So if you want to commit and you have a few hours in your week to commit to a more competitive level of the sport, you may go for a tryout, or if you just want to interact with other friends, you can definitely attend a club. So something that it's not, you don't have many hours of commitment every week. So there are plenty of options for you in terms of instructional programs as well. So sometimes students, they like yoga or squash. For example, we have an Olympic-sized pool, so students can definitely use these facilities. The gym, it's already including the tuition as well. So just make sure if this is important for you, take a look into the facilities of the athletic center for each of the universities if they have. And for international students, if English is not your first English, you always should consider get help from the office that helps students with development of their English skills. So for example, McMaster, we do have an office. So students, for example, they need to write an essay and they need the help to review the essay before they get in. They can go and ask for the support, and it's free service for our students. So just make sure you always ask for help. This is my advice for you today. And work opportunities. So this is a topic that is very important for especially international students when they are considering different countries and also Canada, right? So here in Canada, when students receive a study permit for a postgraduate, for a post-secondary institution, the students, they will see their conditions in their study permit. One of the conditions are that the students can work up to 20 hours per week during the academic year, and they can work full-time during their vacation time, which is a 4-month vacation period here in Canada, which may be different from other countries as well. So just so you have an idea, the academic year usually starts September, goes until April, end of April, depending also again the calendar. And then from May to end of August, you have 4 months. So for example, you can work with research, or you can work on campus or off campus, just always considering the conditions of your study permit. For different universities, they will have different terminologies in terms of work experience. You will hear a lot, especially in Canada, about co-op, but you also hear other terms as internships, practicum, placement. There are different ways that the universities refer to work opportunities. And the structure of these work opportunities may be very different depending on the program that you are interested in or depending on the university that you are studying. So just make sure you understand what are the options for you in terms of work experience, depending on the program that you are applying. Co-op, it's an opportunity for students to work in their field of study before they graduate. So usually students complete 12 months of co-op, and how it's structured may be very, very different from university to university. So I want just to inform how it works at McMaster. So for example, some students, they may decide to take this 12 months of working experience in one single period. So it means that when the student is working for this 12 months, they are not going to be studying. They're going to be focusing on the work experience that is related to the field that they are studying. Okay, for a few other universities, it may be different how they structure. Sometimes the students, they must do 12 months in a row. For us, for example, students can divide this period in, for example, 8 months and 4 months. It can be even more than 12 months, depending on the program. So how it's structured, it varies depending on the university or the program. But just make sure that if you're interested, you apply for co-op or you complete an internship. If your program doesn't offer a co-op, internships are also opportunities for students to work in their field of study. Each university, each department may have an office or a department that helps students with job application, how to build their resume, because they're not familiar usually with this workplace and all this selection process. So we are here to help the students with that. Okay. After students graduate, they also can apply for a postgraduate work permit. If they completed, for example, an undergraduate program in university here in Canada, they may be eligible to this work permit. And usually, for example, if the students completed an undergrad of 4 years, they may remain with the PGWP for 3 years here in Canada, working in its own field of study. So it's a very interesting opportunity for international students, especially because other countries may not offer this possibility. Just an example for McMaster, we do have partnership with many employers in the Grand Toronto area and even other provinces or around the globe. So students can, depending on the program that they are, there may be partnerships with larger companies, sometimes smaller ones. And it's very flexible, our co-op and how it's structured as well. So just make sure you connect more with us if you want to know more about work opportunities during your academic year and also during your academic journey with us. Scholarships. So this is usually a very hot topic. Students ask a lot about that. And we understand that families, they need to prepare for the financial investment of studying abroad. And scholarships, in terms of scholarships, or sometimes we call awards. Some universities, they have different scholarships at different amounts. So I suggest that you connect with each of the universities that you're interested here in Canada and ask them all about the scholarship opportunities that they have. In general, this is very common for universities in Canada to have an automatic entrance award, which is a scholarship that the students, they don't need to do anything about it, just it's merit-based. Usually our scholarships, they are merit-based, so based on the grades. So students may be considered automatically for a few entrance awards. So this is a good thing. When you receive an offer, you may receive automatically a scholarship. And also, most of our universities, we have a by application scholarship. So scholarships that the students, they must apply. And the application process may be different. But what I suggest is always, whenever you apply for a program in an institution, you apply for the scholarship right away, because a few students, they may decide to apply for the scholarship once they receive an offer, and this may be too late. So just make sure you apply before the deadline, okay? This application may consist in different components. Sometimes the students, they need to get a reference letter. Other times they need to write an essay or answer a few questions about, for example, their leadership involvement or their volunteering experiences. So it differs. It's very, very different how the process works depending on the university that you're applying. So at McMaster, we do have both types. We have the automatic entrance award. We have the ones that you students need to apply for. And whenever you apply for a scholarship, you may see the amount that students may be granted depending on the scholarship that you are applying. There are multiple types of scholarships, so just make sure you apply for all the ones that you are eligible for. Just an example, for example, depending on the faculty, students may receive from 1,000 to 3,000, or for example, our engineering program, students that are international receive, for example, $10,000. So there are multiple types. And again, just make sure you apply for all the ones that you are eligible for. In McMaster case, you have a platform that is designed specifically for scholarship applications. And you can, again, as I said, you can only apply once you're already in our system. So once you already apply for one of our programs, okay? Just before we start with the application process here, I do have a few other students here saying hello. So thank you for joining. We do have a lot of participants here today, so I'm very happy. Application process in Ontario. I will focus with Ontario because each province, they deal a little bit different. Sometimes they don't have a unique or one specific platform in the province to apply. Sometimes students, they need to apply directly with each university that they are interested in. So I will just focus in the application process for Ontario, because we do have a unified system that is called Ontario University Application Center. So in the Ontario University Application Center, it's a very straightforward process for students to apply. You can apply to multiple universities. We have 22 or 23 universities here in Ontario that you can apply. You apply using this website. So you can apply to multiple programs as well. Within the OUAC and within the fee that they charge, you can apply to up to 3 programs. But you can add more programs and more universities if you wish. Okay, some students, they may decide to apply for different programs or have a backup option. So I just suggest that you always do very, complete research before you apply, so you know what are your options, and it may be overwhelming with so many options that you may find. So just try to apply for also backup options, so you have have chances to get a few offers from different universities as well. You can apply to up to 3 programs with McMaster. So we are gonna, for example, if you are certain of what you want and you want to apply to only 1 program, that's okay too. But sometimes students want to, or they're not decided or want to have a backup option, they can apply to more than 1 program. Once you complete the OUAC, and the recommended deadline is January 15th. And why? Because many programs will close in January 15th, and a few will be open after that. I always suggest you do it earlier. So depending on the program that you are applying, you can hear earlier from us. But January 15th is the recommended deadline. You may see a few programs open after that, but I always suggest January 15th. You have the grades for your first semester, grade 12. Sometimes, depending on the program, we may wait for the midterms of the second semester to make decisions as well. So it may be a process where students need to wait. And we know how hard it can be to wait when we are anxious about something. But always connect with the university to understand what's the timeline for the application, because it may be totally different. And even different programs in the same university, the timeline is different in terms of application deadline and when you're going to hear from us. After students apply through the OUAC or OWAC, they will receive an email of confirmation from McMaster 2 or 3 days after, where they're gonna receive instructions how to create our Mac ID to access the applicant portal. So you can see all the checklists. If you need to upload any document, you see there in your portal. So just make sure you do this second step. Some students, they finish OUAC and that's it. They think it's done. But for many universities, you have a second step. So each university is different. So make sure if you apply to multiple universities, you are on top of all the emails that you receive. And this is a habit, and you need to now start, if you don't have it yet, is to check your emails. Always, every day, check your spam, check your junk box, because you will start receiving a lot of communication and emails from universities that you apply for. So again, after you apply, after you create a portal in our login in our portal, and after you upload all the documents that we requested, you have we have a few weeks, or depending on the case, months, because our decisions come out from February to May in a rolling basis. And depending on the program, may be very different how the timeline works. A few tips, and I think I covered about that already, but just stressing here about the deadline, so January 15th. A few universities, and I want to mention that, they may even have an earlier deadline. So make sure you connect with each university, because you don't want to miss deadlines, okay? Sometimes universities are very strict in terms of deadlines. Another topic for international students is the English language proficiency test. These are the requirements for McMaster specifically, but these requirements may be different depending on the university that you apply. So for example, for McMaster, you need to be studying in an English medium school for at least 4 years if you want to request the exemption of the English language proficiency test. There are other exemption requests that you may always check with us if you may be exempted. But in most of the cases for international students, you need to present the English language proficiency test results, okay? And sometimes the students, they don't meet the minimum requirements in terms of English test. So each university may have a different bridging program So a program that allows students to develop their English skills so they can start their academic year. We do have our MELD program, which is an 8-month academic bridging program for students to develop their English so they can start their academic program. And we also have the STEP certificate, which is a shorter version of the MELD. So it's a 6-week program before students start their academic year in September. Okay, so just making sure you connect with the universities if this is the case and you want to get to know more about their development in English before you start your academic program. Okay, and just to finish here about McMaster University, I know that we talked a lot about studying in Canada, and this may be too general for you depending if you're already applying or ready to apply. But it's hard to generalize all the information. I hope that it was helpful to you to understand, in a more broad vision how the application process works. But focusing on McMaster, just a little bit about our institution. We do have 32,000 undergraduate students in our campus. And 15%, usually 15% of our students are international students from all over the world. We do have more than 300 acres of campus, and you see that we have a conservation area surrounding the university, so you can go for a hike or a bike with your friends after your day, after your classes. So it's a self-contained campus, everything that you need, residences, athletic center, even a nuclear reactor we have on campus, very safe. So everything is in a walking distance. From 10-15 minutes, you're already in your residence or your academic building. Or if you need to go and get something in the grocery nearby, it's located in Rosedale, which is a neighborhood in the city of Hamilton. So Hamilton is a very a well-located city. We are about 45 minutes away from Toronto and from Niagara, and the US border as well. So very easy to go and explore the cities nearby. We have plenty of options in terms of restaurants, cultural activities. So you're not going to be bored here. You're going to have lots of things to do. And of course, as I said at the beginning, it's important for you to know what you want in terms of city. Do you want a larger city, or do you want to be in a smaller setting, but still having many things to do during your day? Or if you like to be in a very a small community. If you see here, McMaster, we do have 32,000 students, which is a medium-sized university here in Canada, but you see that we have a very welcoming and friendly community. Hopefully you're going to be able to visit us and see that for yourself. And I think I'm running out of time here, but just making sure that you understand also about the rankings, right? We're very proud to be one of the top universities in the world, very well recognized in terms of impact and playability. So if you want to know more about McMaster, just make sure that you connect with me. I think you see our email, so just make sure you connect with us. And lastly, this is the last slide about the programs that we offer. We have a variety of programs within our faculties of business, engineering, health sciences, humanities, science, and social sciences. Students that apply after high school, they apply for a level 1 program. So for the programs that you see here, sometimes the students, they ask me, but I see engineering, but I don't see mechatronics engineering or software engineering. It's because for a few of our programs, you have a more general first year, and then you select your major or your focus area later on. So the same for example, psychology. Students may apply for psychology under one of the gateway programs in our Faculty of Science, or they may decide to apply for a second year, the level 2 program within the social science program. So there are many opportunities in terms of programs here. that you not necessarily will see, but it's an option for you to apply for a major after the first year. Again, just to mention a few programs that we have, Arts and Science is a program that is not under any of our faculties. You see that it's the first one to be mentioned. Business and Humanities under the Faculty of Business. Business, you have a more general 2 years, and then you're going to select your stream after that. Under the Faculty of Engineering, we have our Bachelor of Technology, Computer Science, Engineering, and the Biomedical Engineering and Health Sciences. We are very well organized also by our Bachelor of Health Sciences, because a few students may decide to apply. We have a medical school on campus, so sometimes students think that it's a good idea. But just to address this questions that are very frequent students here in Canada, they cannot apply for medical school right after high school. So it's different from other countries, okay? In Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, you have more than 260 combinations of degrees, so you can personalize your degree. In the Faculty of Science as well, as I said, you may have a more general first year if you're starting your gateway programs, or we do have the direct entry programs as well. I think that's it for my time. I don't want to run too much over that, and I know that we have a few questions.
I can pull out the questions you haven't touched on or answered so that we can get to it, because I know we have limited time, but we do have a few minutes that we can answer some questions before you have to leave. So one of the questions I have is, a student is asking about accommodations for students with disabilities and medical problems. So how is the university equipped to be able to handle or to accommodate and welcome students with disabilities?
Sure. My first slide about the student life, you could see that we have many services for students that are international or domestic as well. So we have the student accessibility services, where students, they reach out to this specific office, to this department. So you can come up with a plan together on how to better address any accommodation requests that you may have. So it's very important for you to always connect with us. As I said, reach out. We're going to direct you to the right people that will help you with any questions that you may have, or if you need to come up with a plan throughout your academic, depending on the accommodation request as well, it will be different how they address this topic. So just make sure you always connect with us, and we are going to direct you to the right department. So in this case would be the Student Accessibility Center.
Thank you. And another question, and this is a common question I think that applies to all universities: how important are extracurriculars in high school for the application process? And does McMaster focus, there's the regular ones where they don't need to do a supplemental application, and then there's the supplemental application. So how does extracurricular play into that?
Unfortunately, we didn't have much time to address the admission requirements, because this is different from program to program and from university to university. So a few programs, you may be required to complete a supplementary application. So a supplementary application is a way for us to get to know more about the student as a person, not necessarily your academic knowledge about something. So because of that, a few programs will ask you a few questions, and the questions, they may be different from year to year as well. So, but the students usually can practice and to be able to complete the supplementary application. In this case, extracurriculars, depending on where you're applying around the world, other countries, they may request you. You may need to complete an extracurricular. It's not like that here with us. You don't have to complete one specific extracurricular or a volunteering. So it's not an admission requirement for you to do so. What I tell students is, if you have these experiences, this may help you to complete the supplementary application if it's required for your program. This may help you to build your your character, or to build your profile, right? It's not going to be, for many of the universities, as far as I know, it's not a requirement. But this may help. So many students, and this is something here in Canada that is a requirement for students to complete, for example, their OSSD. It's like volunteering, right? So some students, they may ask, is this important? Well, personally, I think it's important, but it's not an admission requirement for our programs. This may help, maybe, your supplementary application. So it's something to consider when you, if you want to complete these experiences or not.
Thank you. And one last quick question. I know there are some questions that we didn't have a chance to answer, but they are things that you can find by going on to the university booth and the McMaster website and reaching out to admissions and recruitment when you're looking at the research. But one fun thing is that, you know, we go to university and we're always looking for extracurriculars and activities to do there. Is there a place where students can find what types of activities are being offered, like the clubs and the activities, if they want to explore it? We had somebody asking about spoken word, but I wouldn't expect you to know the specific details, but is there somewhere they can go to learn a little bit more about the university life and the clubs and things that are available?
Yeah, so I know that it may be a little bit hard to find everything because we have so much information always, and we are bombarded with so much information in now the websites, but we do have a link into our student center where you can see the options in terms of clubs. We have more than 300 clubs, and each of the faculty, they also have clubs that you can definitely check this in each of the faculty's website. But one, I think in this case, I would suggest to check in our website for the student center. At McMaster, you just Google it, clubs, McMaster, student center, and you see a list of clubs that we have to offer. If there is no, like if you cannot find the club that you're looking for, you can definitely start a club once you start with us.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We're out of time. Michelle does have to run because she is involved in some one-on-one meetings with students. But I just want to thank you so much for sharing your expertise about applying to university in Canada and a little bit about McMaster. And for the students that have asked questions, I know there were questions about support services and services. That's all available on the university website. So you can definitely check out and see what information is there. Just a little personal note, my daughter actually attends McMaster University, so I know that the student support services is phenomenal because my daughter has taken advantage of those. So I know that they are very helpful. And so those services and support services are very well. And I know there was a question about safety, and I can comment that the campus is a very safe campus and they do take good care of their students. So thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you to all the students. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope that you found this informative. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Leslie.